each other. Can it be I sings? You should write literally on the board. Which is the correct one? First or second? First or second? How many of you say second? Put up your hands. Second is correct. I sing or I sings?
I sing.
I sing. Everybody, and if they're not raising the hand, you should ask. Why? Like, do you think first one is correct? I sing, you sing. So, to introduce this, you should introduce verbs for them. See, you will all be going back like down, verbs. Okay. So, what are some of the verbs? What is a verb?
Action.
Very good. We always say action. What are the some common actions that, now think of a grade 2 student and tell me what the students will understand action words? Yes, action words. Very good. Now what are some of the action words? Now see. To teach action words, don't just say eating, sleeping. Do action literally. Very good. Now, what are some of the action words? Okay. Now, we'll start from morning. Like morning we wake up. Wake up and then we rub our eyes, we brush our teeth, we wash our face, and then we comb kadu. Comb. B is not there. Comb. No. Comb. After taking bath, and then applying, eating, drinking, and then sitting, standing, going, very good, running, holding, very good, holding, catching, very good, carrying, speaking, writing, listening, walking, very good, reading, playing, thinking. Now see, seeing phone, crying, watching TV, recording. Now listen. Now we always say ing form. Verbs are all ing form. Okay. We always, whenever you ask action words, students will also say ing form only, like sitting, drinking, dancing, these things. What do you have to do? There are other vocabularies. These are very basic one that you will teach it. When you want to teach actual vocabularies, again, okay, verbs, there are some techniques that you can apply for the students. For example, simple technique of making a lemon juice for the students. There are certain words that we use it. Action words like cutting, squeezing, stirring, not mixing. We stir, we say, right? Stirring, not stirring, no. Stirring, we stir. Okay, we squeeze the lemon. Okay, not we add the sugar, we add the salts, we add the cardamom powder, and then serving. Example, you want to ask the students what is your favorite drink and how do you make it if you want to make, not like Pepsi, Cola, not that. If you want to make, what are the some drinks that you can make it at home, and then lemon water, lemonade, lemon soda. How are you going to make it? Small kids also, like you ask them, like, do you know they drink tea, or maybe how does your mother make it? Do you help them? And then ask the questions. Like that, when you're teaching that, also tell the student there is the word called, like for example, eating. We eat, right? Eating. But actually the word is eat. If I am eating, see, right now I am eating, that is eating. If I am not doing that, that is not eating, that is eat. Okay. And then if Soumya is eating, eats. Soumya eats. Okay. Like that, you ask one of the other students to pick up any word and then add yes and then tell. For example, what's your name, sir? Ejaz. Ejaz writes. Okay. But I write. Okay. And then Vasudha plays. Vasudha plays. Like that, they have to point out at each other. For example, you take one verb and tell about her. No, she dances. Rather than she, you use the name.
She writes.
You tell about her. Tell the name and say, don't say she. I don't know her name.
Srilata writes.
Very good. Srilata lights. Srilata, you tell about next.
Usha speaks.
Usha speaks.
Anita cuts the nail.
Anita cuts. That's it. And then you tell something about somebody. You tell about Ajas.
Uma is a drinks.
Uma drinks. Very good. Uma drinks. Like that. You have to allow the student to speak about each other like that, one by one, and then give 2 minutes of time for them to understand it, whether they have understood or not. Singular, third person. Okay, now come here, Soumya. Come here, sir. See, to make the student understand who is the first person, who is the second person, and who is the third person. See, I and Soumya are best friends. Soumya and I are best friends, and I'm speaking about, what's your name?
Ramesh.
Ramesh. I'm speaking about Ramesh. Okay. If I am speaking, hi Soumya, how are you?
Hi,
Oh,
I'm
you
fine,
know, Ramesh writes well in the classroom.
Yes, I know.
You know that?
Yes.
Also, I heard that Ramesh dances well.
Oh, I saw him dancing.
Oh, you saw him dancing?
Yes.
Like that? See, I used Umesh as a...
Ramesh.
Sorry, Ramesh. So, I am speaking, I become? First person. Whom am I speaking to?
Second person.
Who is that second person? Soumya is my best friend. Okay. Soumya and I are speaking about Ramesh. Third, very good. So I'm speaking about Ramesh. Ramesh is not here, for example. I'm speaking about Ramesh. Ramesh is somewhere, but I'm speaking about him. You go little far away. I'm speaking about Ramesh. I'm speaking to Soumya. So Ramesh becomes third person. If I'm speaking about Ramesh or he, I always have to add yes to the verb. Ramesh dances. I just told that to Soumya. Now Soumya will tell something about Ramesh to me using a verb. Tell me, Soumya.
Ramesh is
It's only in simple present tense. That you keep in mind. Okay. You tell me.
Ramesh is my friend. He dances very well.
Oh.
He also sings. He also writes some stories. He
Regards.
Okay. Thank you. Now. Thank you, Soumya, and thank you, Ramesh. Now say.
I wrote a song also on verb. నడుస్తూ ఉంటే వాకింగ్, నవ్వుతూ ఉంటే లాఫింగ్, నిలబడుతూ ఉంటే స్టాండింగ్, కలబడుతూ ఉంటే ఫైటింగ్, ఎగురుతూ ఉంటే జంపింగ్, ఏడుస్తూ ఉంటే క్రయింగ్, కూర్చుంటూ ఉంటే సిట్టింగ్, తింటూ ఉంటే ఈటింగ్. Like this I wrote a song, but it is mixing with Telugu and English. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. See, now listen. Very good, sir. Nice song. You can also apply it in Kannada and to teach or in Urdu. Okay. So that is, maybe see, I need not to call Ramesh here to make them understand. Your students will not be like you.
Maintain time.
They'll be very, very slow. They do not know first person, second person. All activities will take time. Don't think that I'm teaching you how you are grasping. They'll grasp it. It will take a lot of time for your students. Give time for them. Let them learn it. And then go back little by little, little by little. Once you are done with Concord, they are able to make a good sentence. Because you already taught them assertive sentence, you already taught them questioning techniques, you already taught them Concord, you already taught them auxiliaries. Once they are able to have this in the sessions, like in the classroom, they will be able to write the good sentence. And good sentence will always have a conjunction. So that's what we are not. For example, Bhaskar is a student of RIE. Bhaskar sits in the 5th row. Bhaskar speaks a lot in the classroom. Bhaskar disturbs a lot in the classroom. You don't actually, just telling the reason. Okay, full stop. See, this is monotony. Just writing in simple sentences. If I'm using comma, and disturbs a lot in the classroom, that gives you a better sentence. Okay, so that's what conjunction plays an important role in language. So to teach conjunctions, before you teach conjunctions, you should be able to teach all these for your students. Is that okay? Do you think the class is boring? Now, fanboys, I already taught you. We just discussed about it. Fanboys. This is just the acronym, that's it. You already told me this, so I am not asking. Okay, listen. Is it correct? All right. When you want to teach them the auxiliaries, please begin with and but first. And but are not auxiliaries, and but are conjunctions. Now whatever I am teaching, it's for you. And I'll be a little fast here. Please understand. Listen. When you write a sentence, there are actually two clauses. What is a clause? Group of words which sometimes convey and do not convey the meanings, complete meaning. Alright? So there are two types of sentences. Sorry, there are two types of clauses. Main clause and subordinate clause. Main clause is also known as? Very good, sir. Independent clause, and subordinate clause is also known as dependent clause. And you know the reason why it is called as dependent and independent clause. While you are teaching for students, do not go and tell these, okay, there are two types of clauses, there is that. This is for your understanding so that you write better sentences. So there are two types of clauses, independent and dependent. When you want to write a sentence, always there will be a mix of complex and compound sentences. So complex sentence is a combination of subordinate conjunctions along with subordinate and main clause. Okay, and compound sentence is a combination of, very good, two main clauses. This is very basic understanding to understand it. Did you understand?
Yes.
Independent clause will always have a subordinate conjunction. When you have two main clauses, you will get compound sentence, and for compound sentence you will use fanboys. This you keep in mind. If you are using any of the fanboys in your sentences, you are writing a compound sentence, and in that you must have two main or independent clauses. This is also known as independent clause, main clause, or principal clause. Okay, and dependent clause is also known as subordinate clause. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. When you want to write a complex sentence, you will have one main clause and one subordinate clause. Okay. And if you want to make a complex sentences, you will be using other conjunctions. Other conjunctions like? Subordinate conjunctions. Examples? Because, since, as, when, after, very good, nevertheless, before, in spite of, very good, in spite of, so that,
Instead of.
very good, instead of. Okay, now listen. Okay, enough. This is a clear picture that you must understand. If you are using the subordinate clauses, subordinate conjunctions in your sentences, you will get a complex sentence. A good handwriting will always have a combination of compound and a complex sentence. Compound, complex sentence, you will get it. Okay. So only I told you to get to know conjunctions better. Now, just teaching this is not sufficient, but whenever you are using a complex and a compound sentence, punctuation marks, we just put it wherever we want it. If there is a pause in the sentence, we add comma. If there is a sentence, we just put a full stop, just to differentiate the ideas, but that is not actually the correct format of writing. Okay? This you understand, and then we'll just go one by one. Now, see, this is for your understanding, teachers, not for your students. Don't go and teach them this. No, because we also have participants in RI, whatever they have learned, they just go and teach in their classrooms. So, now see, for, we use it as a reason, but most of the time for is used as a preposition. Most of the time we don't use it as a conjunction. Okay? Starting with and. Whenever we are using and, you must always have two independent clauses. Okay? And always and joins the similar ideas. Similar ideas. Parallelism we call it in terms of language. There are few terms they have given in your module. Don't open now. You just get back to your rooms and then you can open it. In my book it's open writing, you will understand. Don't open now. Okay? They have given few things. Generally I don't follow the module, whatever they have given, so that you read the module and then out of the module I'll be teaching it. Okay? Now see, when you want to use and, students will be using lot of and. She's coming and sitting and talking and sleeping and lot of and they use because they only know only and, that's it. Okay, now see here, when you want to teach and for the students, begin with what are the two activities that they would like to do. Okay, for example, I like writing and sleeping. I like writing and sleeping. So I say I like in my leisure time, I like sleeping, I like to sleep and to read. See, to read and to sleep is fine. Using infinitive is fine. But you can't say I like to reading and to write. I like reading and to write is wrong. That is not parallelism. You always have to use same amount of grammatical structure in the sentence whenever you are writing. I like to read and to write is fine. I like to dance and to sing is fine. I like dancing and sing is fine, but I like to dance and singing is wrong. Okay, so keep that in mind while you are speaking while you are speaking. So here I like reading and sleeping. But whenever you are just using two nouns or just the phrasal verbs, you need not to use a comma before and. I told you, right, whenever you are using conjunctions, you will have one main clause, you will have one conjunction and another main clause you have it, and you will always use a comma here. You will always use a comma. This is the rule if you are writing compound sentence, even for and also, but in the textbook we don't find it. But refer any of the standard books, this is the rule, you will find it. Okay, you just go through any of the standard Oxford or Cambridge books in terms of grammar, you will understand this. But yes, for example, if I'm using my favorite breakfast is bread and butter, though we are using and here, we don't use comma here. Keep this in mind. Just for connecting the nouns and nouns to words and words, we don't use comma. These are exceptional cases in the language. Also, there is exception that we most of the time we don't use comma before and. We don't use. Most of the time we don't use, but if you are using, it's not wrong. You are actually following the standard method of writing. Most of the time this is considered as an exceptional case. But if you are using two contrasting ideas, using but or yet, also so we always use a comma. For example, tell me one sentence using, and but is always used for negative. Very good, contrasting ideas. Okay, now tell me one sentence. There's no word like fastly.
There is no fastly. Fast only.
Pizza is tasty. Okay. Pizza, we don't call it as pizza, we call it as pizza. Pizza. So while speaking, we call it as pizza, not pizza. Okay. Pizza is tasty, but it is unhealthy. You are using this, you always have to place a punctuation mark or a comma here. See, this is one, good or tasty, you consider any one word. Pizza is tasty, but it is unhealthy. This is the rule that you have to follow. The same applies for yet as well as so. Okay, pizza is good, yet it is costly or cheap. Whatever the ideas that suits well there, you have to use it. The main objective of telling here is that placing of punctuation marks. Don't place punctuation marks wherever you want. Unnecessary punctuation in a sentence, we call it as comma splice. What do we call? Comma splice. Is that okay? We can't use comma wherever we want to use it. For example, I am speaking and then you are writing something. There is a pause, you put a comma. There is a pause, you put a comma. Please don't do that. Okay. Now, did you understand the comma in complex sentence? Compound sentence?
I know this. I'm in market. So tell me what you want.
Comma. I'm in market, comma. So tell me what do you want? If and whether conjunctions are considered as complex sentence, madam. There you have a different rule for using if, although, that one. That we are still dealing with compound sentence. Okay? Yes. Is this okay? Now, don't spend this much for the next upcoming sessions. I'll be running like cheetah. You have seen us. You have seen a very patient tusk here. You will see the impatient in your upcoming days. All right. Now see, for generally, I told you we use it most of the time as a preposition, but we'll just look for and but, yet, and so. Whenever you are using neither or, in neither and nor, we don't place comma. Keep this again in mind. Neither nor, either or, we don't use comma. Okay. Either I'll come or go. Example, you will not use a comma there. Even if you are forming a sentence using independent clauses, we will not use comma for this. Punctuation marks. But for yet, so, and but, it is compulsory to use a comma. Okay. For and, even for as it states the reason, we use a comma, but and is an exceptional case. If you want, you can use it. If you do not, you do not. But for these, it is important to assert the ideas and to assert the comprehension of the sentence. That's it. Comprehensibility of the sentence. Is that okay? First, ask the students about the compound noun to make the student understand and. Again this is for your students now. Whatever was there, that was for you, for your students. Ask students where do they use and. Generally, you tell me one example of your sentence of your students if you could remember or recall. Using and.
Neelima and Ashwini are
Your students tell me, your students example you tell me.
using and.
I will read and write. Your students will say, very good, read and write. Think of your students, get back to your schools. Don't be a charai now. I'll play and sing.
I and Suma are coming.
I and Suma are coming.
I eat rice.
I eat rice.
I eat rice and sagu and
Sambar.
and so
I eat. Okay. Rama and Ravana are best friends. Enemies.
sambar and
Sambar and Sagu.
elaborate.
Now listen.
Dhanush, Aryan and Karthika are playing in the
Dhanush, Aryan and Karthika are playing in the. Okay, now see. Students, when they want to use it like this, and examples, you start with classroom examples. Who are your best friends in the classroom? They say and. Maybe for grade 1 and 2, and they say, these are my best friends, and then they are working like that. Okay. Now, when you want to introduce what are the foods that they would like to eat, they can use it to make 2 or 3 items. Then you can use it. Here we call that as a listing commas. This is for you. In listing commas, we have a list and then we use and. For example, I like to eat chapati, comma, rice, comma, I don't like chocolate, cake, and of course I like chicken, banana. No, there are many people who are vegetarian, no? So, now see, I like to eat chapati, rice, cake and banana. See, this we call it as listing commas. Okay, we don't use comma before cake.
Cake, yes.
Here, see, we don't use.
Before,
We don't use. This we call it as listing commas. So wherever we have a list, generally we don't use comma before and.
yes.
Okay?
Okay.
In this way you can ask the students what they like to eat, and then I like to dance and I also like to play. Okay? My father is a farmer and my mother is. Ask questions. What is your father? What is your mother? Housewife. That's what I told. My father is a farmer and my mother is, okay. My elder sister is a student and my younger brother is studying in grade 6. See, very thing that they can associate with their own lives. Don't say, for example, just taking your example, sir, Ravana and Rama are enemies. That student, like, okay, though we need also to empower with the spirituality of their own tradition, the culture, but something like the abstract concepts, we need not to make them, they will not understand it.
Okay, so give examples lively from the classroom where they are able to connect with their own lives. Ask about their brothers, ask about their families, ask about what are they doing, what they like to do in their leisure time, what they would like to eat in their lunch, what they would like to eat it in their dinner, and who are their favorite two teachers that they like a lot in the classroom. Okay, all these things you have to make doing, like they have to write it, and then they have to, for example, I like pineapple and grapes, I like apple and oranges. Fruits example, I like bitter gourd and cucumber.